The CI-19, probably still one of the best assault rifles in Delta Force, and a while back a viewer, community member by the name of Wonderful-E9P asked if I could make a long-range build for the CI-19. I usually don't really make long-range builds. I tend to play pretty close quarters, and for the most part I'll use like a red dot even if I'm playing at longer ranges because I can see pretty well. Especially now that I have glasses. But I digress. They asked me to make a long-range build for the CI-19, and I acquiesced to it, and I wanted to share it with all of you today. So starting off with a blank CI-19 here, we're just going to go look at the recoil control, or the pattern of the recoil here. So you can see there's not a whole lot. It goes like up and to the right, but there's those little like deviations to the left and to the right of certain shots that somewhat can throw off your make it a little bit difficult to control. So we're going to really focus on that, and considering we're using it at longer ranges, you really want to have as little recoil to control as possible. So we're going to start off with the gas block. So you have two options here, the new type stable gas block, which increases your range, or this one, which is the rapid gas block that decreases your range but increases your fire rate. This one costs you a little bit of fire rate, but since we're going for something a little bit longer range, we really want that extended plus 5 meters here, so install that. Then we're going to swap out the barrels. So you really only have two options here, either the new type Leopard short barrel or the new type Hidala tactical long barrel, which gives you another plus 4 meters in range, which is the barrel we're going to go for. It gives us increased control, increased stability, costs of handling, and accuracy, but considering what we're going for here, that is perfectly fine. For the muzzle device, now to correct some of those deviations in the recoil pattern, we're going to go with the Bastion horizontal compensator, which is right here. So this decreases the horizontal recoil of the weapon and also increases the horizontal firing camera stability. So go ahead and install that. Now just looking at the recoil pattern again here, you're going to see it's getting a little bit cleaner. You can see the initial one, pretty big deviation here. Then here, it's getting a little bit tighter, which is what we want. For the foregrip, I just noticed that it actually took off the gas block, so we're going to go ahead and reinstall that. For the foregrip, I went with the secret order bevel foregrip to further reduce that horizontal recoil. So install that, and then we're just going to go see here again the control. So you're getting a lot more vertical recoil, but you can see it's getting a lot better for the horizontal deviations that we saw earlier. And obviously, vertical recoil is always easier to control. So for the mag, I chose to go with simply the 45 round mag. This one just gets such penalty on handling, and I felt it wasn't worth the extra 15 shots considering we're playing a little bit further away. It gives us a lot more time to reload. So the 45 rounder it is, then we're just going to slap on the mag mount on here. For the rear grip, now you have two options here. I have yet to unlock this one, but I probably wouldn't have went with this one. I really wanted to go with the new type sword heavy grip to get extra stability and extra control for this weapon. So yeah, this one's pretty good as well. It gives you a lot of control and extra firing stability, but for this build I simply went with this grip. For the stock, now I went with the skeleton sniper stock because it gives us extra stability, extra handling, costs a little bit of control and accuracy, but that's not too big of a deal for this build. Then for the optic, now you have multiple options. Wonderful actually asked me to put a 3x on here, but I hate all the 3x's in the game. I just don't like the actual reticle on it, like this one, or even like maybe the ACOG if you turn it down. I just don't like the reticles on them. So what I chose to go for here is put a multi-purpose tactical riser. So we're just going to find that. And then I put a Russian accuracy 2x scope, which I actually do enjoy the reticle for this scope specifically quite a bit, and 2x for what I'm doing is more than enough. But yeah, if you want, you can put a higher magnified optic on here, but you won't be able to use the riser for it. Then the tactical device, this will increase your ADS speed by 50 milliseconds when you have it on, so just go ahead and equip any of those. And then for all of these slots here, we're just going to put on Ranger handguard panels to further mitigate some of that recoil. So you can actually put them on every single slot, which is why I chose to put a multi-purpose tactical riser for the 2x optic that I wanted to use for this specific build. Now for the calibration, for the barrel, we're just going to go with plus 50 grams, plus 10 millimeters to get extra firing stability and extra muzzle velocity. For the foregrip, plus 20 grams to get extra control and negative 20 millimeters to get extra ADS movement speed. For the rear grip, I'm just going to go with negative 50 grams and negative 20 millimeters to get extra hip fire aim speed and plus 18% aiming stability while breathing. For the stock, we're going with negative 50 grams to get even more aiming stability while breathing, and plus 2 slots to get even more of that aiming stability while breathing. Finally, for the riser optic, just go with negative 20. You could also increase it by 0.2 5x to get 2.25x scope or magnification here, but I just chose to keep it at 0. 2x is plenty for me. If we look at the details pane here once again, let's just go here. Obviously you're doing, 25 damage to the body, 22 across the board for that, 47 damage to the head. Control pretty reasonable in terms of recoil here. You can see there's a little bit more vertical, but there's less deviations in those horizontal little bullets here and there. For the handling, it's not great, but this is going to be a 390 millisecond ADS speed if you have the laser on. For the stability, we did bump that up quite a bit, so holding your breath while firing at people in fully automatic at range, this will help you a lot to control some of that recoil, and obviously the firing stability is just going to be really nice on this specific build. Now, in order to be able to use this specific build, you will need to level up the CI-19 to level 51 to unlock the Secret Order Bevel foregrip. Now, the CI-19, it does decent damage. It shoots reasonably fast. Unfortunately, we did reduce that firing rate a little bit by equipping the stable gas block, but I think it's worth the trade-off considering that we're taking on longer range fights. Even having a slightly lower fire rate here is going to be still manageable, and you're still going to be able to take down people quite quickly, and also having that lower fire rate also makes it so that the recoil is a lot easier to control. And having the laser on here on the top, now you could obviously, if you're using a more magnified optic, you could probably take off one of those handguard panels and put the laser on there. Not only does it increase your ADS speed, but it also allows you to use the tactical stance for when you do need to engage people in CQB engagements. The tactical stance is going to be your go-to. I cannot stand using a magnified optic when I'm fighting people in within 20-ish meters, maybe more like 15, 10 meters. I would just rather go for the tactical stance, and having the build like this allows you to do so and still have something that's decently magnified to get kills even at 100 meters plus with the CI-19. So I think this weapon is still a very, very strong pick if you have been playing Delta Force for a while and you haven't used it, the CI-19 lately. Give it another go. It is still probably one of the highest TTK or the fastest TTK ARs in the game. Of course, if you put on the rapid gas block on there, you can make it even faster, but that's more for a CQB build. And as Wonderful asked, I was tasked with making a long-range CI-19 build. So if you have a suggestion for a build that you would like to see me try my hand at, leave it in the comment section down below. The share code for this weapon build will be in the description as well as in the top pinned comment. In any case, I'll leave you with a few highlight clips of me using this specific build. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.